Okay, so last time we were trying to merge in BugFix, which had the exact same line of code edited that we had already merged in with AddFonts. So we were having a conflict that we needed to have resolved. And we can see here, I cleared the screen, but you can see it's still trying to merge and it hasn't quite done that yet. So if we do a get diff, oops, I came back in here, diff, we can see the problem. So it's telling us, okay, these are the two lines that are in conflict. One says times and one says Arial. So there's two different edits on the same line of code that we're not really sure how to merge. And this could happen in real life. You could forget which one you're editing. And so basically, you just need to come into styles here, and you'll see the same sort of little edit we got here with it, get diff. And it's put some little headers on here for us. And it showed us, okay, this is the one that was in that was merged from AddFonts that's in now the master. This is the one you're trying to merge in from BugFix, and we have a problem here. So basically, all you need to do is go ahead and just delete out the one that you didn't want. So the BugFix person really shouldn't have been in there, and it should have been I shouldn't have been messing with that when I should have done that in the AddFonts. So I'm going to keep the AddFonts version and go ahead and save that. And now, as we look at the get status here, we see the merge went ahead and resolved it. It says marked resolution, and it sees that we've then modified that file. So we do need to go ahead and add that. We can see we're still on master branch here. So we can do the get add and then get commit, -m, resolved conflict with fonts, and go ahead and get status, and we'll see the working branch is clean and the merging has completed. And if we go down here, we'll see that the Arial is still there because that's the one that we chose, and all is good. We did merge in the bug fix. You'll see that it's not having to be saved anymore. If we go to our windows here, we did merge in that bug fix successfully, the part that was new, and it came in just fine. So very, very cool. I think it's an amazing system, really keeping track of what you're doing, making sure people, you don't overwrite yourself with code, and really doing a good job just locally for yourself in this area. So now let's look at getting this now on the cloud, so it's not just local. You can have multiple people working on the repository. So I'm at the point now when I want to have other people come in and start helping me doing some projects, different things inside the project. And so I'm going to go back on to github.com. And so let's see, did we get out of that one completely? Yeah, oh, there we are, right here. So I was logged in as Andy Julie, and I am going to make sure, okay. And I've got a bunch of different repositories here. You will not have any repository at all. In fact, you will probably have, I wish I could do a brand new one. I've used all my emails with all my Git ones. But basically, you'll have instructions on how to download a repository. So you should have somewhere that says get started or new repository, start a project. When you hit that button, this one is going to ask for a repository name. So let's go ahead and just set up an empty one for now. We're going to bring the one we've been working on locally into it here in a minute. So I'll go ahead and call mine PM for PetMed, or you can call it PETMED. But I think I already had one called that, so that's why oh no, I don't. Let's do that. So whatever you want to call it. So I'll call mine like PetMed, because that was the name of our project we were working on. You can give a description if you want. Is for Git learning purposes. Whatever you want. You don't have to. Public is, of course, going to be free. If you say private, you're going to have to enter your credit card. So maybe this is where you guys would have to pay that. You can initialize with a README. We actually had a README, so I'm not going to check that one. And then I'm going to say create repository. Now it's empty, but what it gives us is it says, okay, we're going to give you some code to download your new repository. This is if you are creating a new repository from the command line. This is one to push an existing repository, which we have. We have an existing local repository that we want to push up onto the cloud, into this social media of coding for all developers. And so we're going to be using these 2 lines of code. And it even gives you the URL of exactly where you want to put that. And it's the same URL that we pretty much have up here. It just doesn't have the .get extension. So I'm actually going to just copy and paste this whole thing. And I'm going to go back to my command prompt, to my local machine. Once everything's committed and clean and great, I can paste that in with a Control V or a right-click paste. And it says get remote add origin, and then it has where we want to put it. Now this is basically just pointing to where our origin of where, when we push things, where it's going to go in this repository. So if I hit that, it just takes it, and if nothing happens, that's exactly what was supposed to happen. If you get errors, make sure you're checking that you did the config file right at the first and things like that. Now the second line of code is where it will actually push it onto that origin. So we're going to copy, Control C that one, go back to my command prompt, and you can just type these in too, you don't have to paste them. Whoops. And now this is actually going to now push it. And here it wants the username, and I'm not sure if this will happen with Windows, but it wants me to kind of log in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my username here. And then it says it wants the password of that one. So I'll go ahead and hopefully I'll remember the password here for this one. And it says it's compressing, writing objects, and it's done. Branch set up to track remote branch master from origin. So if we look at our GitHub and I refresh the screen, it should now show me the files that are now in here. So there they all are. We have the index, the README, the services. You may, I don't know about this .dsr, that's something my system put in there. You may or may not have that. JavaScript, and I can click inside that folder, maybe, and it will show me all the different files we got. Oh, you just click on the blue name. There's my scripts file, there's my image, all my images, my CSS, and if you click on that, it actually will open up the actual text itself. You can actually edit in here, but I wouldn't suggest, I would always edit in your local and push it up. I wouldn't suggest ever editing in here. But basically now you have this online, and as long as you give everyone your username and the name of your repository, it is public because we didn't pay for it to be private, or you can give them this URL. They can find your repository and they can now make changes themselves. You know, multiple people can make changes to this repository. And that's what our next video is going to be. We're going to be looking at how to work as a team, multiple people, to be getting there. But let me cover just a few more little things. Let me make sure I've gotten everything we wanted to with the local first. Oh, I did want to show you, maybe I won't run it, but you can go back to an original version by grabbing, let me just show you, if we do a git log, and I say, oh, I want to go back before I did this, adding this JavaScript file. So I can grab, you know, some of it, you don't have to do the whole hash, but whoops, some of it, you can copy part of the hash if you don't jump around like I am here. And I've kind of hung up in here, so if you ever get hung up and your prompt doesn't quite look right, you can always do a command, Control C, and it should maybe jump you out. In Windows, Control C will cancel you out. Let me just get out of the window altogether, open back up my terminal. Sometimes I have to do this. It's good for you to see because it sometimes happens where I get myself hung up. Utilities, terminal, and go back into documents and back into Git. So I'm, cd Git, and I'm going to, should still be in my clipboard, that little hash. So if I do a git checkout, paste the hashtag, and then if I want to do a certain file, that's going to help me revert back to that original version. But I don't want to revert back. But I just wanted to show you that was another thing that you can do in here locally. I also wanted to show you quickly that there's help. If you forget all these different commands that we've been looking at, if you don't have your outline, you can do a get help, and it's going to show you a lot of different commands that you can use. If you're specific and say get help with init, because you're not sure what that is, it will explain exactly what get init is and all of that. So for example, we were doing the maybe it just wants me to enter through everything before it's going to let me go back out again. Let me just see. But for example, we had that -u on the origin, and it can I'm not being very good with my, there we go. We could say get help, and then we could say origin. And then it can go in, get help push is what I should have put. It goes in and puts what that U, here's that U and what it might, and you can go down here and it might tell you exactly what all those different options are. And here we go. So here's all the different dashes and things like that. So if we get down to where it talks about maybe what this is going to be, here we go. Set upstream for every branch that is up to date or successfully pushed, add upstream reference. And next time, just so you guys know, you don't always have to put that -u. You can just say get push origin master, like over here in the right here. The -u is just for the upstream that first time. So anyway, so there's some helps there that you can get while you're in local Git as well. Okay, so for the next video, we're going to be looking at making using GitHub with a team, but it's still that same Git versioning control system, but on the cloud.